Well, good morning, everyone. I'm not sure if our chairwoman is going to make it or running a little bit late, but let's go ahead and get started. Very excited to have our representatives from, I'm skipping the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all join in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we're very proud to have our representatives from Vista House. I'm sorry I didn't make it this weekend to engage in the cleanup work, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Come on up and give us a discussion about where things stand. Jonathan, did you have anything to add before we? All right, welcome. Good to see you.
Hello, everybody. My name's Eric. Just as a reminder, this is Kim. And just want to give you an update on what's happening and how excited we are to get the facility open and going. So as an update from our last city council meeting, we are going to be able to put 21 beds in the facility, which our goal is to, with 21, is to serve between 35 and 40 youth a year out of the house. So we're super excited about that. Since our last conversation, we have garnered now support. It's not fully official, but it's about 95% official. The county is expanding their bridge housing program. There was some unused funds and the short-term bridge housing program from the county. So with that, the 21 beds here in Vista is a part of that expansion. We're a couple weeks away from getting a final go, but it looks really good. That will fund about 75–80% of this program, which Wonderful. Is fantastic. Also an update is the Lucky Duck Foundation has already come to the table to secure the remaining piece of that. So it looks like we're coming into year one fully funded, ready to go. We have some smaller partners that have been amazing for us, that's helping us. Everybody from Humble Design, Heavy Breathing, Home Depot, Dr. Bronner's, Rancho Valencia, VVSD, Dolce Restaurant, Valle Resort. So there's a lot of traction. So we're so excited about that. Our intake, we're working now on our intake process. We've established a email because we're already starting to get some referrals. That email is going to be vista@urbanstreetangels.org. And we're creating a QR code. We'll have a digital and a hard flyer out in the next, probably by this time next week. So that way we can start passing that out. It's already, the word's already out. People like the YMCA, we've got a soft service opening July 1st next week. So we'll have a lot of organizations coming, but we're already getting a lot of referrals.
Eric, have you been over to visit with North County Lifeline?
Actually, I emailed with Leslie yesterday, and that's actually going to be our mental health drop-in center that we want to work with.
Great, because they've been doing work with transition age youth and aged out foster youth for a long time in Vista, but I don't believe that they have any housing resources. So I think your organization and their organization are going to be great partners here in Vista.
And we're partners now, Mr. Mayor, in one of our other collaboratives right now,
great.
Housing Our Youth. So,
Wonderful.
And Don, when he was there, we were great friends.
Good.
So now we're reestablishing that with their new CEO. I'm very excited for that. So we're excited about that continued partnership.
I want to just, for the three people that are watching at home, I just want to, for the record, underline how important it is. The city of Vista has provided you a building to operate in, and you have gone out and found all of the operating funds for all of the staff and the programming. And so I think this is so important because a lot of our programs, we're starting to move in this direction now. Very important. We're providing a little bit of seed money, and we're letting the community come together with us to fund it. We can't fund all of this ourselves. We got a lot of this ERF money. It's great while it lasts, but it won't last forever. So the extent that we're able to plant some permanent organizations and help them, it's really, I got to really keep focusing with our staff and the community on the sustainability of the infrastructure that we're building. Thank you for being a partner with us in that.
Absolutely.
And to Lucky Duck Foundation.
And I think it's also important for organizations and businesses want to be a part of something. They want to get engaged. So providing that opportunity for them to step up and do that is pivotal. So I'm just glad we're able to do that.
Thank you.
I know a question was asked. All of our youth will be connected to behavioral health services in this county-funded program, which is, that could be mental health, it could be substance abuse, it could be something as simple as being homeless or in danger of, because naturally, those are behavioral health issues. So just so you know, in general, we're going to be serving all youth 18 to 25 in need. So we're Vista focused, and then once we have focused in Vista and we still have room, we're going to be expanding throughout North County. So that is what everybody has been hearing.
Great.
Anything else?
I just wanted to say that the community of Vista has been amazing. From the minute I walked into the door of the Chamber of Commerce, going to local restaurants, asking them for support. Your agencies like the YMCA, everybody who's come by has volunteered. Dr. Bronner's Mike Bronner has come over with multiple employees to volunteer, has sent information out to his staff and given them time off to come anytime they want. And we've had the San Diego Football Club and the Padres volunteers and the Rancho Santa Fe Fire Department all contribute either, with helping to get the property all cleaned up, or they're going to come back and cook and do other things for us. But the community has been amazing, and we wanted you to know that we're going to take care of this property, and we appreciate the fact that you have given us this opportunity.
Isn't it an amazing property?
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a really special place. I'm glad that we were able to find it by chance. It came to us, I think, by God's design, and we're really excited about that. Well, good. What about a grand opening date?
Well, we need help with that because of my expression.
Yeah, so we wanted to get in a few weeks earlier than what we are, but it looks like we're going to open the doors August 4th. So August 4th will be our opening, kind of a soft opening. And then I want to work with you, Mr. Mayor, the City Council. I know that we've had conversations now with Jim Desmond, meeting with him in a couple weeks, since the county's come to the table with a lot of these funds. Drew with the Lucky Duck Foundation. So we'd like to work out in your schedule and the council members mid to late August to let's have that ribbon cutting, make it official. Now, naturally, we will have some youth already in there, which is what we want.
Perfect.
So we're super excited about that.
Great. And you're all synced up with the rescue mission?
Rescue mission.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for your good work. Amazing.
If I may, I think we all know how prolific Eric is in the sector of the work, but a special shout out to Kim, who's just been absolutely incredible on site. She is managing all the different things that are happening there, making all the connections with all our plan partners, and none of this would be possible without all the tremendous work Kim is doing, so thank you.
Do you guys know about this? We have a public speaker. I don't know which item is this for. Okay. Oh, we missed Pete. We'll come back. We'll get Pete. Let's see. Tara Izzo called me yesterday, and she runs Care Choice here in Vista. They do in-home care providers, and they're starting to get into this case management for the homeless. And Medi-Cal is paying $330 a month. I talked to Donnie on the phone yesterday about this. You got to know how to work Medi-Cal, but the federal government, as far as I'm concerned, has been a missing partner in the homelessness outreach effort. They, obviously a lot of Section 8 and other, the tax credits to build some of our low-income housing projects, that's federal money, or tax credits, which is lost revenue to the federal government. But as far as getting federal money into the ecosystem of what we're doing in this room, that seems to be missing. And so I want you to all address this issue of, are we able to tap this? You have to have one qualified encounter with somebody who's a Medi-Cal recipient, and then, you know, $330 a month is made available for managing that individual's case.
So I can speak to a little piece of Medi-Cal because we're actually starting to use that in Vista House. Currently, we'll have 2 staff members that are funded through a Medi-Cal program, a case manager and a housing navigator, 100% funded.
Great.
And it's our partner through the San Diego Collaborative Neighborhood Networks. Coming in January 2026, Medi-Cal will pay for those youth that are enrolled in Medi-Cal, will pay for rent subsidies.
Okay.
And it's going to supersede the $300 a month. Now, they're still working out those kinks, but that's new, that's coming to Medi-Cal for us. And so some of our partners are gearing up for that as well as us. So, but for your talking points, Vista House will have Medi-Cal CalAIM funding day one through our staff, and then rental assistance January 2026.
Fantastic. Well, that's a lot of work bringing all those different funding sources together. That's in addition to getting in there with a mop and a broom and a paintbrush, figuring out, I mean, I could do the paintbrush. I don't know if I could figure out all this without a lot of time to pull it apart. So thanks for all that.
I'd like to add one more thing because I can't believe I didn't start with when I was talking about the community partnerships. Hannah and Pete and Green Oaks Ranch have been amazing. And when I say amazing, not only have they come out and cleaned the entire interior of the house up for us, but they have come out on 3 separate occasions when I have needed help because I couldn't move furniture or literally I had a truck there and I got stuck. Can you send somebody over? I mean, they've come over in 10 minutes. And it's happened 3 times, and they've been incredible. I just wanted to say that I can't thank them enough, but it's just an indication of how your community appreciates each other.
It's awesome. Thank you.
And from no direction from staff, completely on their own initiative.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kim. Okay, my apologies. Pete, we missed you on oral communications. Come on up and speak your heart and mind.
Good morning. Good morning,
How
Mayor.
are you?
Good morning, City Council. I just wanted to just say, I haven't spoke to you guys in a little bit, so I just wanted to put a speaker slip just to tell you that I'm grateful. I'm super thankful for all of you guys, for the City of Vista. Thank you, Jonathan, too, of just how proactive you are here in this city. I've been in other cities where they're wanting their city to get involved. And you guys have done so much. You guys secured money for the permanent location of the BCNC. You got outreach, rapid rehousing, partnerships with shared housing, with townspeople. You guys just voted unanimously for the opiate settlement funds for Green Oaks Ranch. That's gonna be a blessing to the City of Vista as well, to tackle homelessness, but also to tackle this opiate crisis. And so I just thank you guys for being so proactive. And we take it as an honor and a privilege. We don't take it lightly. We're very grateful and thankful for your guys' support and ongoing support. So thank you, Jonathan, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Pete. Okay, now item D2, we're going to talk about Home Key Plus with Dignity Moves. I'm familiar with Home Key, at least I think I am. I don't know what Home Key Plus is as a differential between the two. Home Key, as far as I knew, was where people got money to turn an old motel into a place for transitional housing.
Oh,
Is that how close am I to reality?
yes, you can definitely do that with it, but you can do so much more, and that's what I wanted to talk to you today about.
Wonderful.
So, good morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Joanne Price. I'm co-founder and chief real estate officer with Dignity Moves, and I'm joined on the Zoom link by our fearless leader and CEO, Elizabeth Funk, who you see on the screen, and our director of expansion, Dominic Green. The Dignity Moves is a Silicon Valley nonprofit startup that was born out of the pandemic. And we're a catalyst for ending unsheltered homelessness. I don't need to explain to the people here, homelessness is a very complex problem, and we just focus on what we think is the easiest to solve, but the most inhumane, and that's leaving people living and languishing on our streets. And we believe that we can easily and readily bring people in with very cost-effective and quick solutions. And that's what we've become a catalyst in. We've become an expert in building interim housing, tiny home communities, but also in building very cost-effective permanent housing solutions, where the average cost of building affordable housing in California is about $650,000 a door. We've been building as low as $200,000. And just yesterday, I was at a groundbreaking in San Luis Obispo, where we're doing just that.
That's how much the state of California spent, $24 billion. Divide the 120,000 unsheltered in the state into that number is $200,000. That was the money the state auditor said that they couldn't find.
Wow. But this is what we're all about. We're all about bringing humane solutions, cost-effective, and in doing so, being fiscally responsible with the money, the resources, so we can serve many more people and bring people indoors where we can give them a chance at life. And so what we've got some very talented and creative minds on our team. We've got CEOs, entrepreneurs, and we also, apart from building and developing, we also moved to sponsor policy and legislation that will facilitate what we do and really help those people living on the streets.
I like to eat my dessert first. Tell me, what do you guys do?
What we do, we're going to build. I'm going to give you an example.
You build housing.
We build housing.
How many units have you built so far?
500 units, with another 500 in the pipeline that will be opened by the end of this year. So by the end of this year, we'll would have built 1,000 units in less than 3 years.
And do you know what your average cost is on the units that you've built, that you finished?
Yeah, between 200, 300,000.
That's great.
We build as low as 50,000 for our flagship model, which is using underutilized parking lots. We bring in units in a matter of months and we house people, and that's where they get connected to services, and that's where it's more effective as well, because you have people here today who go under bridges into parks, and there's really no accountability or good outcomes. When you bring people indoors and their mindset shifts because they're in a safe, secure environment, that's when you see the real change begin. And so we built over 500 units which are open today. We have 500 on-site being developed, which will be finished by the end of this year, bringing our total to 1,000, and many more in the pipeline on the page in conversations like this.
And where do you find the funding to build?
It's a mix. It's public funding and philanthropy. Some of our projects were built 100% with philanthropy, downtown Santa Barbara, downtown San Francisco. On our other projects, like our Home Key projects, it's public, primarily public funding with matches from the municipalities. Mm-hmm. But there's also encampment resolution funding. There's also beachip funding that we've acquired as well. And on the screen, you'll see how much money we've actually secured, successfully secured in round, altogether, with myself included, we've raised over $162 million, and we have another $30 million in the pipeline that's pending award as we speak with the County of Ventura, bringing the total to just shy of $200 million. And the next couple of slides will take you through some of those Home Key projects that we worked on. In round one, Elizabeth Funk and myself worked on the one in Mountain View. And this one was the one that broke the mold. When everybody was buying up the hotels and converting them, we said, well, why don't we add to the capacity? And why don't we build it modern day, 21st century building codes compliant? And we took a site in Mountain View, we purchased it, we put 100 units up in the less time that it took to remodel some of the hotels. So we built it in 6 months, and it came in at $120,000 a door. And that project is still going strong. And it also reduced the number of unsheltered on the streets in Mountain View. Governor Newsom came onto site. He's like, oh, wow, how did you get the funding for this? I thought we were just building hotels. And we said, because there's a pathway to interim housing through the services that's provided, that's how we qualified. And it was so successful that it became the catalyst for 16 modular projects under round 2, including Labatt Landon. The city manager saw the project in Mountain View. He wanted to replicate it, and that's exactly what we did. But we even superseded what we did in round 1, and we built this one in 4 months to get people in before the holidays and Thanksgiving. And in doing so, we secured an additional $500,000 for the city of Roanoke Park. And at the same time, we built Alameda. This was a 2-story project. It was on a site that had gone through the Surplus Land Act. You know, when you issue the RFPs for surplus lands? Not just once, but twice, meaning that nobody could find a solution that was fiscally, that could make the financial stack work. We came along. We did that. We put 47 units on site, and it's primarily serving transitional aged youth. And it was built within 12 months, within the timeframes of the round 2 applications. So all that experience set us up for success in round 3, where we secured another 2 Home Key Awards, one for San Bernardino for $35 million. It was the largest award in that round. Total of $35 million, and it's serving 140 people. That's due to open at the end of this year.
Yeah, that one doesn't look like a modular construction.
It is. It
Oh,
is.
is it?
It's actually the same vendor, the module manufacturer as Alameda and our Oakland project. It's just this is the support building, which is stick. So we built the units out to modular to meet the timeframes and the support building. So it's it's actually a wellness and holistic center because there's so many services on site, computer labs, social services, where people can connect to secure their benefits or apply for benefits. And currently Oakland, this one is due to open in August, so a couple of months. This is for 40 permanent supportive housing units, so this would be applicable to HomeKey Plus as well. Factory OS, and it has a modular elevator, which I think Jonathan was looking for, picture on the screen. Again, this one was built within the timeframes allocated for round 3.
A modular elevator, you said.
Yes. The elevator has been stored on site. Normally, elevators take 18 months to procure and install. This elevator has been in a warehouse waiting for the units to come on site. They're that fast. And these are the kind of, the nuances with building under HomeKey. You have to build fast, and you need the design team and the contractor to really understand what it means to build at speed and efficiencies. And I've added this San Luis Obispo, this was under the encampment resolution funding, but it's still permanent housing. And I was on site yesterday, and I marveled at how relevant this could potentially be for the city of Vista at one of the sites that we were provided by the deputy mayor to kind of consider for potential HomeKey Plus application, the senior center, which is on different elevations. And you'll see on the screen that bottom picture is actually the slope, the gradient of the parking lot that we're building in San Luis Obispo. And this vendor is very special because this is the only permanent housing community built in California, or being built in California today, out of 3D printed plastic bottles. So for every unit, 120 square feet, they use 100,000 plastic bottles. So it's really sustainable, it's really neat, and this project is coming in at $200,000 a door. It will be 40 permanent units, and I don't mean just the sleeping units. These are studio units with ensuite bathrooms and kitchenettes, plus 14 interim units. So the service provider who will be on site, there's all the support spaces, community spaces on site. But we wanted units to have like a place where we could have turnover, because the situation on the streets is so large. We wanted people to come in, connect to service and move through, in addition to having some permanent spaces on site as well. So we just broke ground on that site yesterday. We will be opened for Valentine's Day, February 2026. So that gives you a sense of the time frames that we're working with. The crisis needs urgent attention. We work at urgent scales. All our sites, this is a site in San Jose that we opened, 150 units that we built in 11 months. Everything that you could possibly need for serving people coming in, like homeless people. It has the units, the community spaces, workshops, space for the pets, laundry. We want everything on site so people can then really focus on what they need to do to move, like to stabilize, get the service, access to services that they need, and to move forward with their lives. Computer labs, case management offices are given.
Have you identified land or property in the city of Vista, or are you looking to identify property in the city of Vista?
We have, and I'm going to come on to that. So I just wanted to make sure that we show that aesthetics are important. We care about how these projects fit in with the communities that we move into, and that the units are designed for the people who will be living in them. So this is HomeKey Plus, 2.2 billion. It's rolling applications,
What is
and
plus?
currently
Is that just a re-up of HomeKey?
Right, yeah, it's a shift from the original HomeKey into permanent supportive housing in particular, yeah.
And the big difference with HomeKey Plus is all this is for permanent housing, for people living on the streets, chronically homeless. There was 148 million allocated to San Diego. Currently, there's $70 million that has been not utilized, and that's what we're looking to tap into, and we're hoping that we can use that to the benefits of people on the streets. And this is how we partner with you. We do the heavy lifting. We coordinate the applications, but we also help you identify the sites, the budgets, where the funding is coming from. And we quarterback the entire process with you. Because we've done this time and time again, we believe that we can come in, work with staff, work with you, to do an application within a matter of weeks and hopefully secure an award with you. I'm going to focus on finding suitable locations, because I think this might be what you're looking for, important for you. 2 sites were suggested to us, 200 Michigan and the Senior Center in the city of Vista. So we worked with our architects, Gensler. We also worked with a couple of modular vendors, Azure and LifeArc, to give you potential ideas of what could be achieved. And we were targeting a 50-unit project, which seems about right. It would probably be about 25 million. And the site plans on the screen show you what could be achieved. So, and then I go in, and then I done, how did I go back? Okay. So these are 50 units on the 200 Michigan site. We also have a potential 2-story project on the 1400 Vale Tennis. That's the Senior Center. A LifeArc product, which is what we're working with the County of Ventura on their HomeKey Plus application, 50 units. And the Azure 3D printed home model that very similar replica in San Luis Obispo. And these are all hypothetical. This is just, we wanted to show you what could be achieved utilizing some of those existing funds, not all of 70 million, but a portion, to build 50 units that would serve the city of Vista. And with that, I'm going to stop because I'd rather this be a Q&A for you to ask questions and make it more of a discussion.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to make a presentation. I appreciate it. I'm not sold on the Lifeline or 200 Michigan site. What was the other? Oh, the senior
Center, yep.
I'm a hard no, and I hope the whole council's a hard no on that. Our seniors are utilizing that property, but I think we could find a property. I don't, you know, I'm not negative on the idea just because those two spaces aren't maybe the perfect ones.
And that's why we gave you a range of options.
Yeah.
The single stories, the two-story options would definitely take up a lot more, less space, if that's right. And we built on as low as half an acre. We don't need an entire acre. So we would be willing to, look at alternative sites. Mm-hmm. We just want to know is this a true possibility with the city of Vista? We think it's a fantastic opportunity. We think that we could get support, from the Housing Commission and from the county. And we could do something around the $25 million mark to achieve your 50 units. That something would be long-lasting and serving.
I heard you say $25 million projected cost and 50 units. Is that right?
Yeah, it depends because each site is different. I don't know exactly where the utilities will be in the street. I don't know how much grading. Right. So I give you a range. It could be 20 million, 25 for 50 units. It also depends on the model of the units being selected. It's not a huge undertaking, that's what I would say.
Yeah. I've told staff, and we actually talked with Eric and Kim about a modular project. I'm not totally sold on the modular stuff. Mm-hmm. I know staff is really hot on it. I'm not sold on the economics of it long term, or of the appearance of it. And when we talked with Lucky Duck, when we looked at the couple $1 million needed to prepare the site, and we looked at it and we said, is this really the most cost efficient? We secured the building for, I think it was it 2.2 or $2.1 million? At $2.2 million. And it's a gorgeous facility. It's stick built. I mean, it's Class A facility, and we were lucky. It just kind of fell in our lap. But I'm just not. I need to spend a lot more time thinking about it. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I'm just not sure about the modular stuff. And I keep going back to this. We put modular classrooms in. Nobody's happy with them 40 years later. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants them gone. Nobody really wants to live in a modular. So the question is there any cost comparative option? And ultimately, as we densify, the council has approved a plan. This is outside of your purview, but the council has approved a plan to go to 150,000 people. That would increase population in Vista by 50%. The council's direction is for people to densify upward. Mm-hmm. Modular has a limitation on its upward capacity, its vertical capacity.
Modular can go up to 5 stories, if not more. The modular vendors we used in Oakland and Alameda, they go up 5 stories. They work on permanent, and they've done thousands of units across California. It's a bona fide vendor, and these units, the maintenance is no different from a traditional stick building. Mm-hmm. We use like the fixtures and fittings, the standard finishes are what you'd see in regular affordable stick-built housing. And
Tell me about the square footages on these units.
they vary. Like an efficiency dwelling unit is 198 square feet. And that's what you could build in a stick build. With the modular, when you're replicating units and you're providing the site work at the same time, that's where you get your efficiencies in the time frame that you can build. And I'd encourage you to come and tour several of our sites. We've now worked with probably almost 10 different modular vendors, and they're suitable for different conditions. But they're built to last. The permanent units are built to last. The ones we're installing in slow, they will last for 55 years.
I'm not closed-minded to it. I'm open-minded. I like to look hard at the alternatives, and I do need to see some more of these projects. Staff and some of our council took a trip. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. I don't know if we have anything in San Diego County yet that really compares. So we would be pioneering for San Diego County.
Yeah, Victorville might be the closest one, most comparable project.
I mean, I went down, and this was not modular. I went down and I saw, who built the thing in Chula Vista with the, who built that? Oh, that was the one that we were, yeah. It's Pallet Homes. Certainly was,
Pallet.
yeah, it certainly was better than sleeping on the street, but it really was just a galvanized steel shelter. It was nothing more than that.
Exactly.
Did it have an air conditioner? That's not what you're proposing.
Exactly, that's where I'm going. The pallets are great for that temporary model.
Right.
HomeKey Plus is permanent. It's a completely different manufacturer and different specifications.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just looked at that, and it's not the most efficient use of land, and land is, we always kind of forgetting here, land is the valuable thing. The improvement is not the valuable thing. The land is now the valuable thing. My house is worth much less than the land it sits on. That's just how it works here in Southern California. So anyway, at least in a lot of cases, it depends on how high vertically you go. But so I'm open-minded to this. I want to explore it. I appreciate you bringing it forward. It might, maybe we do want to pioneer it and be the first in San Diego County to do a modular project. I'm very open-minded to it, but I can't say I'm ready to jump in with both feet without learning some more about it.
Okay, so what would the next steps look like for you? Because we're like the 70 million that's just sitting there, we want to help you, yeah? Because we really want to help the people on the streets. So we don't want that to be returned to the state. We want to keep it within San Diego. What would the next steps look like to get us moving forward in a potential?
The most important thing, and I want to talk out loud about something. Nobody knows this. You in this room know this, but the public doesn't know this. Okay, we have, I think at last count, and this has gone up by probably 100, we probably have about 850 roughly subsidized low-income units in Vista, okay? So roughly about, right? It was 774 at last count. We built like 100 since then. Okay, basically 0 of those units are prioritized for people who are recovering from chronic homelessness. Okay, they're based on their AMI band. Is this housing going to be open to anybody who qualifies based on AMI, or am I going to be?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Because if it isn't to take the people out of my shelter, then I have much less interest in it.
It's just precisely for the people coming out of the shelters. And you raise AMI, and that's why this is so important, because HomeKey Plus is serving people making 0 to 15% AMI.
Say that again, 'cause I didn't.
HomeKey Plus is for chronically homeless.
0 to 15% of AMI.
0 to 15, 1-5.
Yeah.
Like barely $1,000 a month.
Right.
And when we're building affordable housing today, because to make that financial stack work, the developers are having to build at 60, 80, sometimes 120% AMI. So I'm always saying, if we don't build at scale for 0 to 15%, we're never going to see that needle work. So HomeKey Plus will give you that opportunity to make a bigger impact and everybody living in there.
The fact that you can get a subsidized apartment as a single family as a family of one,
Yeah.
and you earn $143,300. That's 120% of AMI for one person.
Yeah.
And that person qualifies for a lot of subsidized units. I'm not saying they're going to get one; they'd be, waiting forever. But that exists and exists nearby, and I don't see why federal taxpayers or city tax. I don't see why any taxpayer should be subsidizing for somebody making $143,000. So I'm very, very interested in providing the kind of housing that gets people into transitional and supportive housing, and permanent in that it's for a year or longer. So I am very, very interested in doing that. I'm very interested in learning more, but so you have my commitment to invest a lot more time into understanding your offering, and if it's the right thing, then let's do it.
Okay. Can I ask you one more question?
course.
So you mentioned sites. If the sites I've shared today are not, you don't think are suitable, do you have sites in mind that we could, like I'm in San Diego the next couple of days, so I'm happy to jump in my car and go and take a look if there's other ideas to explore.
Some of my council colleagues might be much more excited about, although I can just tell you, Lifeline is a non-starter. They have a constituency. They've been here in Vista for 50 years. They don't want to lose their facility. I think they're going to lobby hard to keep it. Staff, I mean, I'm just going to lay this for staff, has not made a clear and compelling case to the council, at least they haven't to me, about why we should be evicting Lifeline from their facility.
we wouldn't
That's not a you thing. That's
Okay, but we wouldn't be evicting them. I think on the screen, we would.
But with all respect, that's not a question for you.
Okay.
That's a question for Mr. Conley here, because they view it as a constructive eviction, okay? It isn't a matter of what we view it as. They view it as a constructive eviction by depriving them of the full use. Look, the problem is they're not on board with it, and the way public decision-making goes, when you have one party who is a vested incumbent, unseating the vested incumbent is not an easy thing to do. And right now, with regard to that property and that public resource, they are the vested incumbent. And I haven't been presented with a compelling argument. Again, I'm looking at you only because I'm pointed at you, but I'm really saying this to Mr. Conley because I'm not looking to you for, you shouldn't be trying to answer this. This is not your question to answer. I haven't heard the compelling reason to use this space for that. Also, more important, I'm personally, and again, this is where I think my colleagues and I probably will have a difference. They probably would be much more open to it. I've lived most of my life in a suburban setting, and somehow I managed to make it just fine. And there's a lot of people that think that, people can't survive unless they're in the very core of the downtown. But, we've put a lot of work into making downtown work. I am suspect of every service provider until they are proven otherwise, because there's bad operators, a lot of them. The county has done a really bad job with some of, they have the project right next to our BCNC, our navigation center, and it's a horrible project. I walked into the units that the county was operating through a contract operator, and the stench was so foul that, John was there with me. I had to turn around on my heel and walked out. The landlord thought it was funny, and he laughed about it. Human beings were living in those conditions, completely unacceptable. And it was through a county program. So, every operator is different. I'm sure your program is much, much better. We now have Equus through the county that's moved people into the Days Inn. Very little oversight, a lot of drug use. Now we've got a big problem on the street in front of the motel. Not cool. They're not taken care, and they seem to be greatly disinterested in the problems they've caused. I want operators that are going to be greatly interested in solving problems they've caused, because I'm coming after them. You want to be a partner? If you make a mess, it's okay to make a mess. You clean your mess up. You cause a problem, you fix it. if you're going to be the kind of person, this is not directed at you. You just happen to be standing in front of me, and I apologize. This is to everybody. We have only good people here because we have strategically in the last couple of years removed bad operators, and we're bringing in good operators. And I like everybody in this room. That's why they're sitting here. But there are some bad people in the homeless industrial complex, and this is, I got elected because I like to talk a lot. But one of the things that needs to be said is the bad operators need to be identified, need to be plucked out like weeds, and we need to find the good operators. So I hope you're a good operator. If you are, we'd love to work with you. But okay, so that was a long diatribe in getting to this point. There's a lot of property on the periphery of the city. Why does it all have to be, why do we have to look in the most, in the most cost? I know the answer, it's gotta be, it's gotta be on this transit line, not that transit line. Why? So, can somebody explain that to me? Why does it have to be on this transit line and not that transit line? If the bus stops in front of it, what does it matter?
We only looked at city-owned property for them to consider, and we can certainly search around. We understand the downtown area is, got some concerns. We've heard that from the business community too. We're also pursuing other sites for our navigation center beyond this site that we'll report back to you.
What about that property next to Prohibition Brewing? They've been trying to,
City-owned.
I know it's not city-owned. They've
So
been
we
trying
only
to build
looked at
apartments
city-
on it. They can't make it work.
So we
do
could
they want?
expand our search to privately owned property that's on the market, but that would be a purchase for us, not a
It's $25
city-owned.
million going to go into this thing. You don't have $2 million to buy the land?
That's an option too, is we could identify, and it is money that's available.
I
for-
ask
Option.
difficult
I
questions.
did run the pro forma up to 2.5 million with a land purchase, if that's something you would entertain and explore.
Yeah, I mean, if we just go just a little bit further away from the city center, then a couple of things happen. Number one, land gets exponentially cheaper. And there are transit lines there. There are bus lines. Ultimately, I'm going to say something heretical and evil, which is probably if these folks are going to succeed in achieving the American dream and just like recovering, probably we're going to want them to get a job. I know it's crazy. They're probably going to need an automobile to do that. Probably it's going to be their ambition, I would hope. I can tell you everybody at that Vista house is going to have an ambition to get an automobile because in order to work and engage in commerce in our city, it is kind of necessary. I dropped my wife's sister off with my wife at the airport this morning, and I was looking at all those very tall buildings in the downtown, and I thought if I lived down there, and I lived in an urban setting. I didn't own a car for years. Rode public transit everywhere. We don't live in downtown San Diego or New York City. This is not where we are right now. We're not in San Francisco right now. This is a suburban community. So if we just go out a little bit further and we accept the fact that most people are going to need an automobile to get where they're going, where's the automobiles are under attack statewide, as you know. And my council's on a tear trying to make it impossible to get where you're going in a car. Road obstacles, we just reduce speed limits. It's a thing right now. It's nothing to do with you. But if we don't have to be constrained, as our former vice president said, by what has been, then we can do a lot of things here. If we just try and use common sense and come up with what would if we were going to do it for us or for our kids, and we didn't have to put all these insane policy imperatives on it, how would we do it? I would go out and find a nice piece of land that's near an arterial where we could build something nice, and also where I don't want antisocial or negative behavior like congregating on the street in front of it. I don't want that to blend. You know what I'm saying by blend? You could go out and do a lot of antisocial stuff on A Street in San Diego, and it blends. I don't want it to blend. I want it to stand out like a sore thumb so that we can address it. I want sociable behavior here in our city. And I want that to be the goal, that everybody's going to, do what they ought to.
Okay.
And I think that's easier to achieve as we get slightly more suburban. We need in all places, and we have it. But so we'll look for the land. I don't think we can solve the where question right now, but I'd sit down with you and look at it. This is in our conference room upstairs. I got a big map, satellite map of the city for just exactly this reason.
Well, I'm around all day, so we can sit and we can talk and we can walk.
Okay, after we're done here, we'll walk upstairs and we'll look at the big satellite map, and let's start pointing to places on the big satellite map. And I'm only one member out of 5 on this council. The other 4 might completely disagree with me. I'm usually the one that disagrees with the other 4. So don't just listen to what I'm saying. Ask the others. But, I think I can tell you the Michigan thing, the 200 Michigan, I don't think the council's going for that. Jonathan, do you think they are?
Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, why? But I don't understand why to keep bringing that back. You guys are really into that site, and I just don't think.
Just to note, this was prepared separately from staff. It's purely coincidental that it matches.
It just keeps coming back with that
It
same.
might just be a good idea that multiple people have identified, but
These 2 sites came from the Dignity Moves folks meeting with the deputy mayor.
Okay.
So that's why they came to you today.
And she's not here, but does she support this concept of the modular stuff on the Lifeline?
She supports a modular project.
Does she support it at that location?
Well, that was the purpose of discussing it with you today.
Okay.
So unfortunately, she had an emergency come up this morning. And she couldn't make it, so.
But Mr. Vice Chair, it sounds like you would be supportive if we found a site that you would be supportive of exploring, submitting an application over the summer.
Well, and if it's the right thing managed by the right people, maybe it does work right there. I think also Lifeline's not here. Oh, you're from Lifeline. Oh, very good. Well, what do you?
Slip in too.
Oh, you have a speaker slip. Let's hear what you think about this. You're very relevant to this conversation.
Just for the record, we're agnostic when it comes to selecting the service provider. We want what's best for the city of Vista, and they would be part of the application, clearly part of like a co-applicant on the application.
Very good. Okay, we're going to hear from Maybe Castro, Chief Impact Officer at Lifeline. It's going to tell us whether Lifeline wants to share its current footprint with another provider.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Mobby Castro with Lifeline. I'm the Chief Impact Officer at the organization. And I want to thank staff for bringing it to our attention that 200 Michigan was being considered for this presentation. I think we've spoken before and given a presentation on our concerns with a facility or modulars being built on our parking lot. Lifeline, I can repeat for anyone that's not familiar with us, we've been in Vista serving the community over 50 years, and on a yearly basis, we serve around 25,000 individuals. At that site specifically, we serve about 10,000 youth a year. So we want to make sure that we are part of any discussion that is taking consideration on what will happen with that site. So I appreciate your comments. And what I will say is that I know we've also emphasized the importance of what we do for our clients, which is looking for long-term sustainability. That means permanent housing for them. So for us, ideally, we would be looking for something that can help enhance those services and provide sustainable long-term housing for our clients.
Have you looked at your parking and enough to be able to answer the question? Can we bring the overhead image of Lifeline, the 200 Michigan property back up? Have you invested as an organization some substantial thought into whether or not you have parking spaces to give up?
So we haven't assessed as far as parking. I know when we have events, you were at our last event, Mayor, when we have community events, we definitely are using the full footprint.
Yeah.
I think for us, the bigger concern, more so than taking parking space away, is just making sure that anything that is built, if that is the route that the city decides to go, it enhances the services. So again, for us at that site, serving 10,000 youth, making sure that whatever services are provided, whether they be on the continuum of care for those experiencing homelessness, that it is something that is not going to conflict with the services that we provide for youth.
For sure. Lifeline doesn't operate any housing presently, right?
We do. We have 29 units that we operate in the city of Vista.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are permanent housing units?
Those are not, well, they're apartment complexes that we rent. So they're not for long-term living, but they're the folks that are in our housing are those that are transitional age youth, so aging out of the foster system. We find them housing until they get a more permanent location. So units, they can stay there from 3 months to 9 months, really depends on the case that we're working with. The other folks that we house are survivors of human trafficking, so we do have housing for them while we also help them achieve a more long-term site.
Okay. Well, I think from my perspective, I certainly am committed to making sure that we work with Lifeline.
Thank you.
And I know the staff is too.
Thank you, yes. Thank you for
So,
inviting us
yeah,
today.
thank you for coming today. We appreciate
Absolutely.
that. So, yeah, I thank you very much. So I will, you don't have to come back up, but I just wanted to look your way when I said I will give some thought to this. Let's see, did we see photographs today? We saw we saw a lot of CAD renderings, but did we have any photographs of what the modular projects? Jonathan, did you take some great pictures?
We do, yeah. We can send those again.
Yeah, let me get a look at those photographs. I kind of want to see what we're dealing with on the modular stuff. Elizabeth?
And when we look at the satellite, we can go through lots of pictures on my laptop.
Very good. And I sent a message to my friend Lev to ask him how much his doors cost each on some of his buildings, because I want to understand. About 600,000? Yeah.
So if I could get some clarification, Mayor, the council is going to have to approve a resolution for us to submit a grant application on this, which would come to you in August. Are you okay with us pursuing some sites with these folks and looking into some different options? so
Yeah,
that we
let's
want those in August?
look at it. I mean, if that's 600 and his units are, 900 feet? And your units are how many feet? You said 190?
200 square feet. It's an efficiency dwelling unit.
Repeat that number?
200?
200. So we're talking about a 3 to 4x reduction in floor space. So, I mean, here's my honest question is, can Lev build it for less than the $500,000 that we're looking at here? Because we got $25 million budget for 50 beds. Do you care if it's stick-built versus modular?
No,
Does
we've
it
got
matter to you?
24 months to build. We have 24 months to build under HomeKey Plus, so we will work with staff.
So the doors have to be online and open within 24 months, is that it?
Correct.
The efficiency here is that their units are built while they're preparing their site. So they save time in the construction. That's a big amount of the cost savings versus a stick-built construction. You're going to prepare the site and then build the structure.
I'd like to better understand the exigencies of the timing of the grant money. But let's be very clear, and this is, this is the thing, okay? This problem not likely to disappear in 24 months. So when we talk about building facilities that they have to come online tomorrow, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, we all want more inventory tomorrow, but I want to make sure we build it the correct way for our community. And, what I understand as somebody who is a business owner and planner is I know about a thing called a pipeline. I'm not concerned about how fast it gets done. Obviously, we want to be speedy and efficient. There's no question about that. But I want the pipeline full. If the pipeline is full, then you have new product coming online all the time. We should always have projects in the pipeline. That's the way we need to be thinking and planning. If we're putting housing projects into the pipeline every month, then every month we'll have new projects coming online. It's insane that it takes 2 years to build something. It should take less. It should take way less than that to approve it. We're working on that. We haven't made as much progress as we'd all like, but I want to build stuff the right way so that it's really an asset long-term for the community. And I don't see the example of where these modular things have already been built in San Diego or where they were built 50 years ago and we get to see, or 30 years ago, and we get to see what does it look like 30 years later. I know I know at Urban Street Angels downtown facility, how old is that building? Building's probably 50 years old, right? And it's doing just fine. Just fine. Every once in a while, it needs a coat of paint. Sometimes needs new tiles on the floor. But that building is solid. You know, I mean, it's an old cinder block building, getting a job done. You know, but there it's getting it done for a long time. And, you know, government's immortal. You know that? We're getting ready to celebrate our 250th anniversary. As a country, Vista is 61 or 62 this year. So why are we making 30 or 40-year plans? I'm making 100-year plans here. Everything's 100 years in my opinion. So it's because I hope I got another 40 years to live, maybe longer. I want to see this stuff last for a long time and be of service and be housing for people long into the future. So I'm with you. I'm open-minded. We're gonna do something, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I'll wait for you until the end of the
Okay,
meeting.
very good.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you so much. Okay, that brings us to general homelessness updates.
Thank you,
Hello,
Mr. Chair.
Team Rescue Mission.
Team Rescue Mission.
Congratulations on getting our friend Timmery into a VASH unit, right?
Yes, in San Diego.
That's fantastic. So she's in a hotel room right now, pending?
Yes, there, another organization is going to help me get her to San Diego
Great.
today.
That's awesome.
Moving the first.
What a blessing. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. She is moving in on the 1st of July. She was one of the first people I found on the streets. And the community workers that work for Vista are actually the one who helped me find her and help her.
Our community improvement team?
Yes, the community improvement team,
Very good.
Javier.
Love our community improvement team. Love Javier. Good guy.
My name is Kenneth Tobert, and we will be presenting our update for the month of May. Our starting point right here, as you'll see across our report in parentheses, the 108. So 108 is unduplicated clients served during this time. We have 103. We met them in places not meant for habitation. So basically that's whether they were in their car, they were in a creek, they were in front of a building, just a place not meant for habitation. 3 were met at emergency shelters. So that's basically BCNC, ONC. Basically they were coming to their time's end and they haven't gotten on their feet yet, so they needed to go into a different shelter. These are people that probably had resumes going, interviews going, just haven't locked in a steady income to be self-sustainable. 1 person went into housing with no lease, so that's basically like going in to live with a family member. Their family member took them in, but they're not officially on the lease. And 1 person had a PSH match to where they actually got a lease.
So 108 unduplicated.
Yes.
53 were people that were new. And this is just for the month of?
Of May.
Just for the month of May.
Yes.
So in the month of May, we had 53 people that we didn't yet have on our by name list.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are totally new people that we encountered. We're seeing, I guess as it gets a little hotter, we're seeing a lot of people come, out from the woodworks. So that's how we encountered these people.
How many of the people that you encountered this month, I always assume basically that you're always asking people every time you encounter them if they're ready to come to the shelter and get off the streets, right?
Yes.
The first question is,
Do you have somewhere else to go? Do you have family members that can take you? And we're also trying to divert from homelessness.
that makes sense. That makes sense. First question is, do you have someplace to go? Do you have family repeating? Because people at home didn't hear you, but, so the second question is, would you like to get into shelter and into permanent housing and off the streets? That's important. And so my question to you is, how many people said yes out of the 108 in May? How many people said yes to that?
When it came to housing, we would have that.
Or even emergency shelter?
Who said yes to emergency shelter?
Well, I mean,
Out of-
who said, yes, I want to get off the street. Today's the day. If you can find a way to get me off the street, I want to get off the street. Can you help me?
Our whole 108 are all people that we're working on getting shelter for. So these are all people that are willing and acceptable of all services, the whole wraparound. When it comes to going into shelter, they've all been placed on the list in Shelter Ready for ONC if they do qualify, or the BCNC.
Well, but then how many people, you didn't talk to anybody in May that didn't want your help?
Well, the people that we talked to that didn't want our services actually is on, what page is that? If you can go.
Sorry, am I jumping ahead?
If we can jump, yeah.
So go back to that slide we were on, though, just real quick, if you can.
This one right here.
Okay, so clients served. So if somebody doesn't become a client until they say, yes, I want your help, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, good. I'll remember that nomenclature.
Yes.
What do we call somebody before
Okay.
they're a client?
Before they're a client,
We just call them a person
yeah, they're just someone that we're hoping to encounter and
and
work
served
with.
person.
So to answer your question accurately, there were 3 people that refused services altogether. So actually, that would bring that number to 105. So 105 are willing to go into shelter, and 3 of the 108 refused services. They didn't want anything.
That seems not right. We only walked up to 3 people that didn't want our help?
That didn't want anything.
Well, how about, but, let's see. Trying to think how to get at this better. Specifically, when you say didn't want anything, like, I mean, if they wanted a pair of socks, does that count?
No, because that would be services. So that would be clothing and food.
Okay,
So
but
that
this
would
is,
be-
so we've gone the complete other direction from, I mean, we were asking people and we were getting like 96% decline. You're having 98% acceptance.
basically because our involvement in the community. So our approach, the way that we come to them, and the way that the different shelters actually that we're able to offer. So you do have, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're-
Is Carla one of those 3 people? Carla's the one that's out there in the wheelchair next to Timmery. Carla has mental health issues.
Yes.
She's one of the 3?
No, I actually talked to her yesterday. She was willing to go into shelter, but we don't have shelter available on the first floor.
Yeah.
She
See,
has to be at ADA.
I'm confused because I know there's a lot more than 3 people out there that are declining to get into housing. Where's the misalignment in what I'm asking and what you're telling me?
Okay, so future slide, you will see shelter resistant, or we also have no shelter beds available. And I think that's
Yeah,
the,
let's jump forward to that. I really, really, really want you guys to be able to have a hard answer on the number of people that you made an offer of service to. In fact, it's, and I apologize because I'm anxious to hear that number from you always. So that's why I'm jumping ahead mentally, because that's really what I want to know is how many people did you encounter? How many was it the first time? And of those people that you encountered, whether it was the first time or you re-encountering them, how many gave you a yes, I want to get off the streets, and then it became a matter of, was there a bed available? Was there not a bed available?
Okay, so when we can get a little bit more accurate when it comes to answering that question. As you can see on this slide, it says 130 no shelter availability, but this is for our total interactions. So that does kind of include that repeat question of would you like a shelter bed? And that's why it goes to 130. And then also it shows that,
So we had 130 incidences of individuals saying that they wanted to go where we didn't have a bed available for them.
yes.
Okay.
So this could be seeing, Jonathan, and he wanted a shelter on May 5th. And then we saw Jonathan again on May 20th. And he's saying, hey, is something available? And we're like, there's still nothing available for you, Jonathan.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. So this is definitely the number I'm looking for here.
Yes.
So street case management, does that mean that's the number of people that, how many people did you have contact with during the month of May?
108. So again, this is all service interactions. So street case management is 102, and that's because, again, it's a repeat. So we may have seen someone on the 8th, and we worked with them for food, and we probably did a VISPA that. And then we may have seen them again on May 22nd and took them to the DMV to get their ID or to get their EBT card. And then again, that's how we get, duplicate
So, okay, so 108
interactions.
people.
So for example, as you saw,
So 108, I think, what was the number? I'm trying to remember the number. It's not in front of me. Was 7 or 3 were in an emergency shelter?
3.
3. So, okay, so all 105 are all in a place not meant for human habitation? Is that right?
that we encountered, yes.
Okay.
And then, but
So would it be totally accurate to say that the 130 requests, I'd love to know how many people that represents unduplicated. How many individuals out of the 108? But you're saying all of them. All of them are willing to go if we have a shelter bed, all the 105, excuse me.
105,
They're all willing to go.
yes. And again, this isn't including the 55 ongoing people.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
from
like there's more
previous
people
months.
out there that are where's your service resistant number? Because it seems like there's a lot more percentage of service resistant people out there than we're yet identifying here. Help me understand where
I
those
mean,
numbers are.
I think the number is probably low for this month. In previous months, we've had higher service resistance numbers. It's just, I guess maybe this month just had a nice flow. But for the most part, as you see, half of the people out of the 108 are pretty much ongoing clients. So these are already people that are working with us. Out of the 55 new, then only 3 are the people that resist. So 52 people that we met are all willing to pretty much get things going. And these are kind of result
Wait,
of the
say that
people
again.
that are at,
52 are willing to get things going. And tell me
it comes to new.
about the other group of people that are not in the 52?
The 53 are ongoing. So these are people that we met, November, December, January, February.
What do you mean by
Ongoing clients.
ongoing?
Ongoing clients are because ongoing
They're on
clients
the
are clients
street.
that we've already been dealing with.
Yeah.
So the ongoing clients are the clients that we've already been dealing with before the month of May. So when we say new to
But are we
SBRM,
saying about all these people that the only reason that they're on the street is because we don't have a bed available?
yes.
Okay.
So these are 53 from previous months that still haven't been placed in beds because of availability.
Okay.
One other way I might frame it is unduplicated versus duplicated. So in this month, you'll notice here, 55 of the clients engaged in this 108 number were from clients already engaged during previous months. 53 is how many we engaged for the first time in May.
I understand
That's
that.
what Kenny, yeah.
But do you understand, Jonathan, how radically different these numbers are than everything we've seen in the past?
Oh, yeah, I do.
And just when I've gone out with you, I haven't seen a 97% acceptance rate. I mean, there, you know, like when we walked up to Justin, and he's like, "No, I'm good. I don't want your help." So Justin is part of the three people. I mean, I go out and find three people right now who say no. So that you understand why I'm having a disconnect?
I totally understand.
What am I missing here?
There's a couple of aspects. One, he brought up weather is changing. Two, some of the success that we've had is the sheriffs coming out with us and putting a little more weight on people to get.
Talk about that, because we don't have our deputies here, but we have been. This is all, by the way, this is all happening. You came on about the time that we renewed our no camping ordinance. I'm just like, is it really having that big of an effect? I mean, am I right to be mind blown by this? That we went from 96% decline to 98% acceptance?
I think there might be a small difference in how the data is framed from the previous operator till now, but it is a dramatic difference for sure.
There's a lot of different ways to slice and dice this data, so I'm just trying to make sure I really understand it.
Yeah. So
We're getting called to several encampments saying that there's people calling. Can we give them a call back? And can we go check out the encampment? When we get there, there's no encampment.
Right.
We can't get a hold of the people. So either people are hiding well, or they're just really wanting services now that the heat's coming up and the police are putting the heat on them.
That is crazy interesting. Okay, I have another really important question for you. Do all three of you have the Shelter Ready app, Summer Steffen's app, on your phones?
yes.
And what do we know about the status of BCNC? Nanette, how many empty beds do we have today? Do we have any? We have zero? Okay, so we have 0 empty beds at BCNC. What do we know about bed availability countywide? Who's tracking bed availability? Who's tracking total beds? Who's doing that? Is anybody doing that?
No. Each shelter is tracking their own availability. Shelter
we
Ready is a
don't
step
have-
forward towards that.
We don't have a countywide number of the number of shelter beds. I mean, this is insane. No, the whole county doesn't. The whole county doesn't know how many shelter beds we have. I mean, I've seen some reports in the newspaper, but we should be all looking, all of us policymakers in every city in the county should be looking at a line graph of the number of beds, the shortage, and here's the gap, here's what we have to make up. Because, I mean, what you're telling me is if I had 108 beds or 105 beds, that you get all these people off the street tomorrow.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking I'm hearing you tell me, although I still don't quite believe that it's accurate, that there's only 3 that are saying they don't want to go.
And I think that's a result of everything that's been happening collectively. Knowing that a person that usually it's okay for them to leave their cart on the street while they go grocery shopping, then they come out and the cart is gone, thanks to community improvement team cleaning up that street. So now they know that their items aren't safe anymore, for one. Knowing that they can't just camp anywhere because
There's a man living in a dumpster enclosure in my commercial building. It woke me up at 3:45 this morning. He's got all of his stuff stored there, and deputies came and made contact with him. What about there were like 4 individuals, males, about 48 hours ago, and they had taken big refrigerator boxes and they built a corral right there at the corner of Sycamore.
That was Tamara's crew over there.
That
But
was
now-
Taylor?
Tamara. Yeah, now it's down. Yeah, she was part of that.
Was she?
Yeah, but
Is it Timmery or Tamara?
Tamre, Tamre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's gone now.
No, I know. I called the sheriffs and they got it taken care of within a few hours. Community improvement went out there and took all the cardboard away. I don't know what that was. It wasn't an overhead shelter. I didn't understand the point of it other than it was some sort of a signal to the community that they'd taken over the corner. But, so you know all those gentlemen?
Yeah, there was 8 of them over there yesterday.
And are all 8 of those gentlemen willing to go to the shelter if we've got a bed for them right now?
They want shelter, believe it or not. They want to
Okay,
get off the streets.
that's a good thing.
They asked me if they had shelter beds, and I
God
said,
bless them.
I don't have any.
All right, all
My
right.
name and number.
Wow, okay.
So it's just an example of the people that they're willing and they're ready, but just don't have anything to offer them. I mean, I can show you multiple text messages, calls. I've had people call me and text me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey man, don't forget about me when you get to work. It's cold out here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are genuine people that are ready to go in. And what happens is between the word of mouth, because our success with getting other people placed with housing, also with mixed with what's going on at Hobby Lobby and everything with Oceanside. So just a mixture of all the movement that's been going.
What's going on at Hobby Lobby in Oceanside? What's that? Talk to me about that.
That is a joint ERF cleanup between Oceanside and Carlsbad.
Oh,
Their
people
joint
are being
ERF
displaced over
application.
there?
Yes, they are completely clearing out that encampment. Yes, exactly. The Bueno Creek extending beyond Vista's border.
Okay.
Yes. So for those reasons, people are a little more prone to accepting because they're seeing that their needs are somewhat getting met. Some people are going into shelter and actually going into apartments afterwards. And it's not just a 30-day and then a release back to the streets.
What are your thoughts on this Equus thing?
Very frustrated.
They say they've got 43% positive exit to permanent housing.
Well, let me tell you about Eddie Gonzalez, who's
I
on the
met him.
streets.
I met Eddie.
He is now staying on church property.
Which church?
Hope. So right down from where he was staying. I tried to meet with him yesterday, me and Alex, because I want to see what he wants to do. He was in Equus since 2023, and he hasn't moved forward
He was
yet.
in the Days Inn, but now he's out of the motel?
No, they kicked him out. And I went over there to talk to the gentleman who runs it down, and you met him.
Yeah,
And I asked him, why didn't you relocate him back to Riverside? And because that's what he told me and my boss. That's what they're gonna
Equus
do.
brought him in from Riverside County.
Yes, he did. They did. 2 years. He was in Equus for 2 years, and no progress was made. And we have another couple who's also homeless again, and I was very upset at them because they are also on the streets homeless. And we're getting multiple people telling me that they don't want to leave Vista because they like it. So if they're going to exit them, they'd rather stay in Vista. And I just don't like that idea of thought. They should be taking them back to where they came from, relocating them before those time they're going to be up. They should relocate them back to wherever they came from. This other lady we talked to yesterday, she was actually from El Cajon. So I don't understand their thought process about bringing them here and then just leaving them on our doorsteps. I don't think that's fair because now they're our responsibility.
Yeah, is it fair and accurate from everybody in this room to say that with this Equus program, we're seeing more movement of people, distances greater than 20 miles into Vista than I've seen? I mean, I don't want to say it's unprecedented because we've had plenty of people that have found their way here from somewhere else, but the substantial majority of our population heretofore has been people from our area. And now we're starting to see with this Equus program a lot of people from distant parts of the county or from other counties. That's unusual. Does anybody disagree with that? I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. I agree. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted you only because the numbers have changed so radically different. By the way, what a blessing to have the people who are actually out on the street talking to folks come. In the past, with Exodus, we got only a manager, and they would never let the people that were on the streets talking to the clients, they would never let those people speak to us. So thank you very much for Kenneth and Marcia, and thank you for letting them come speak directly about their experiences, because I'm learning a lot. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you. I love it. I love what we're doing here now.
Oh, Daniel.
All right. Keep up the good work. Keep taking heart in every success. What other numbers do you have that are important to go over here?
Okay. Okay, so we'll just go through.
I saw 7 veterans. I always like to point out those VASH vouchers seem to be pretty easy to get if we can get people to stabilize, right?
Yes. And Marcia, since she's a veteran herself, she specializes in that. So she's very good with getting vast vouchers for the veterans that are out there.
great.
And then also the LGBTQ. We've worked with VCC with their community to get some of those people placed. We'll skip over.
Go back to location of initial. Let's see that real quick.
Location of
I think you have
initial
heat map.
contact.
Yeah.
Yes. So as seen, we have Caltrans Row, City of Vista property, and then private property. And as we mentioned before, 91 out of the 108 are people that San Diego Rescue Mission has found. But thanks to Housing and Homeless Services, Community Improvement Team, and Code Enforcement, we have been able to make contact through warm handoffs, whether it's emails, text messages, or calls from those teams. Then we've been able to reach the other clients that we weren't able to find ourselves.
I was going to ask you too, if you go on that Shelter Ready app, what do we see about availability of beds? Is everything maxed out right now? I mean, countywide, regionally?
The way it works is we'll get an email from the shelters, like BCNC emails us each morning with their bed availability.
Yeah.
So we know what's available. And other than that, we are.
BCNC is not on the Shelter Ready app, right?
We are, we are.
Oh, you are, okay. But, I mean, what is that, can I see this, pull this app up for me? Because I'm hearing our wonderful district attorney has built this app, and I appreciate that she did, because nothing else existed yet. I don't know if you know about this, Eric? You know, nothing existed to inventory today's availability of shelter. And the question is, what's available today? From all the shelter that's put on that. This makes it a lot more pressing for policymakers when you can see today's inventory and today's need. And then you're like, oh, we only need 108 beds and boom, we're done. We've solved homelessness. It's over. It's great. So these are searches. So you put in the parameters for each individual.
That's right.
Basically, you will put their first name, last name, date of birth, and it gives like a quick check on that person, and you say like if they're able to go to congregate, non-congregate, and once you pretty much go through all the questions, then it lets you know what beds are available.
This is, so this says, I touched on this, search for a single woman. It's single woman with children. That was the first one? Says there's 3 spaces at the North County Lighthouse in Oceanside. Wait list is 5 spaces. Does that mean there's 5 people waiting for 3 spaces? Okay.
So that basically means that those people are waiting for intake dates and times.
Says we have 279 people waiting for BCNC right now. Does that sound right? That's a lot. It says Vista waiting list, BCNC, 279 spaces.
So how we do it, because we went back and forth with Shelter Ready. With the BCNC having 4 different floors and the beds are Encinitas, Vista,
Yeah.
et cetera. We actually do a waiting list. So we only use Shelter Ready for the waiting list.
Gotcha.
We send every single evening, we put our bed availability out.
Yeah.
I'll send an email that says, for Vista, we have 1 bed available. It's on our female floor. Please contact Andre or myself for an intake.
But you think you have 279 people waiting right now? I mean, obviously, if you were to start,
So right now, we have 14 people.
oh, you have 14 people waiting.
The waiting list thing, I just made it say there was 300 potential things.
I see.
We only use Shelter Ready. They put their client on that waiting list, and then on my end, it will show how
Thank you for showing me that. That's educational.
Yes, so the good part about BCNC is they make the list available to where you can put as many of your people on there, because some of the waiting lists get full, and then we're not able to place those people on the list to even be in line for a bed.
I guess the next step is to get all of the permanent housing opportunities into that, so that we can see. Because my next thing is, okay, I got to get space in the shelter. So now I'm going, how many people are in the shelter that we can't find housing for? And then if we get housing for them, then I got shelter space to get people off the street and move them through the pipeline.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. What else we got here? Here's our heat map.
Yes, so here actually is one of our new charts, because of the notes that we took from our last meeting, where you were asking what was the length of time that people were living in Vista. So this one pretty much has only been tracked for this month, for May. We do plan on backtracking by, as you see, we have ongoing clients, so then we are able to question them.
And this is, these numbers that are points on this, are those percentages or are those actual numbers?
No, those are the actual numbers.
Okay.
So 80, that's 81, it all equals the 108.
So they're almost percentages. So roughly 75% have been living in Vista for 5+ years.
Yes.
That's interesting. I mean, thank you for asking that question. This is a really big deal, because people want to know if the services we're providing is making the problem worse in our city. And it's a fair question to ask. It's a legitimate question to ask. And it's one that if we don't have the data, we can't answer. But you're asking people how long they've been here, and these are the answers.
Yes.
And I have noticed in my conversations with people, they have a ready willingness to be honest about how long they've been here, because I've talked to many people that said that they weren't from Vista, and they didn't seem to have a problem telling us. They didn't feel the need to be dishonest with us. So there's probably a great deal of accuracy in this, would be my thought.
Yes.
So
that's what we're pretty much just trying our best, is to get the best answers as accurate as possible. We do have a couple of people that say that they bounce back and forth between cities or whatever the case is. So just through conversation and trying to get personal, that's the way that we're able to get them to open up. And the more they open up, then the more we're able to actually answer our questions correctly and update our data.
Good.
If we're good here, here's our heat map. The different areas that we have been servicing people. We are planning to go into the more rural areas a little bit more. So we're not so focused on this area, but that pretty much shows where the need is. The good part about it is, it's along the 78. So we'll be able to address a lot of that very soon. And we pretty much went over the street case management and the duplicate interactions. Here is our dashboard for the month of May. As you can see, our inflow is 53. Our outflow is 25. This includes permanent housing, and then the other destinations, which include, a mixture of shelters and that we were able to place people in. At the end of the month, we're looking at 296 people on our active list of clients. Right now, we in our active list.
When are we
of clients,
dropping people off of that list after a year of inactivity? Is that what we're doing?
90 days.
Oh, 90 days. Okay, so if we don't touch them in 90 days, then they come off the list.
Yes, sir.
If they've been touched within the last 90 days, they're on the list.
Yes.
And what date did Rescue Mission start doing outreach in Vista?
and November 18th.
Okay. So we're into almost 8, 9 months?
Going strong. Actually, I'll go back. That's why some of them, as you can see on the left side, where it says like returned to active, we have 8. So those are 8 that dropped off, and then we re-encountered them for whatever reason. So they were either in a shelter, or we got them in the housing, or we got family reunification, whatever it may have been, and then next thing you know, we see them at the Food for Less again.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed me shaking my head. I'm still in disbelief how good your numbers are and how sensible they are in the way you presented versus I've been dealing with this for 3 or 4 years now of, getting stuff that didn't make sense. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great job, not only with the outreach, but also with the reporting element of it. Thank you. It's really meaningful.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's really the first time we're really feeling like we understand how many people are out there on the streets. We're able to see them fall off, come back in when we re-approach them. We're able to get a flavor of how many beds short are we. You're giving us actionable data.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to keep asking you the same questions 13 different ways so that I make sure I understand it and I make sure you understand it, because your information is going to drive us to spend tens of millions of dollars differently.
Exactly.
So it's really, really important information because we're going to spend a lot of taxpayer dollars based on it.
And that's why we want the data to tell a story.
Thank you.
That's actually been the objective for our team, is that data is supposed to tell a story. So that's why when you look at some of our titles, starting point, what happened, location of initial contact, pretty much where we met them. Our charts are titled that way because we want to tell a story about our numbers.
How many of the 105 can we put into our Vista Center? How many would qualify based on age and other factors? 3 of them? We got 3 people identified already?
If we go to age range, we have 24 we have 3 when it comes to 18 to 24.
Okay.
Because they're 18 to 25, right?
And you're talking to them about the Vista?
Yes, I would really love to meet them. I don't know if you noticed, but on the back of one of these papers, I pretty much dedicated to what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So, everything they were saying, I was pretty much taking notes. That way we can use it in our team to collaborate, because I feel like that's a great program. And we have 3 for the month of May, but I'm sure that's not what we're going to have for June and the months going forward. And at least now we have another outlet to be able to shuffle people to. So we really appreciate you guys.
Yep.
I know we've been all over the place.
So that's my fault, not yours.
Oh, no problem. It's good to pivot. As you can see right here, I just wanted to make note of what is the primary barrier for those who need special attention. And because as we try and tackle this issue, we're just trying to see what is it that they need to get out of this situation. That way we're not just shuffling them between the ONC and the BCNC and TAY, and they're just going through the cycle of shelters without correcting their issue.
What's the ONC stand for again?
Oceanside Navigation Center.
Okay.
So
Got it.
the shelter on
Got it. The lighthouse.
yes, lighthouse.
Got a few different terms for the same thing. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's all right. I'm learning your acronyms.
It's like, so they all have multiple names.
Right.
So as you can see, mental health, physical health. Our biggest one is support system, substance use, income, evictions, and domestic violence.
Good. Oh, not good, but good information.
Okay, and just to add a couple of things, now that we've got the ERF3 or ERF4L, as I learned it's called, we are going to be putting the heat map. We're going to overlay the heat map for the ERF because it's a bit different, so that we can actually see who can receive services through that new funding that stream. But we also wanted to share success stories. So we just brought one today that I believe is incredible. I'm going to leave the name out just to protect the client privacy. But how long did they experience homelessness? 29 years. The primary reason, when the client was 32 years old, she was in an abusive relationship with her husband, left that relationship, and has been battling homelessness ever since. The primary barriers, this was kind of the ringleader of a group that was over by Einstein Bagels. And until we can get that ringleader, a lot of times you can't get the rest to go. So the primary barrier was they wanted to enter shelter together and were not willing to split up. The tipping point, we secured a shelter placement for one individual and arranged temporary hotel accommodations for the others experiencing homelessness while they awaited their shelter openings. And the agencies involved were SDRM Outreach and the Sheriff's Department. And I want to give a lot of credit to the Sheriff's Department because they really put a lot of pressure because that was happening right outside like the courthouse. And they were like, this is my boss's property that you all are sitting in front of.
Do the deputies that are involved in this work, are they hearing from you and understanding how important their work is to making your work successful? Because I got to tell you, they were really disheartened a year ago, and I was hearing it directly from the deputies. They were very disheartened because they felt like their work wasn't honored, it wasn't making a difference. And so now to hear that their work is really helping you, now that we've got a little bit of a change in posture, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. And they will be hearing from us.
Thank you.
Our walk got canceled this week, but we'll have it again. Oh, Marcia called and thanked them, so yes.
Thank you, Marcia.
And then we have the lessons learned. Success often requires a collaborative effort with law enforcement and other partner agencies. Identifying and engaging the leader of an encampment can be a key strategy. Helping them transition into shelter first can set the tone for the rest of the group. It is critical to ensure that we have interim options such as hotel placements or safe parking available for the remaining individuals while they await long-term shelter openings. And where they went, the encampment leaders successfully entered the BCNC shelter, while the remaining individuals were placed into temporary hotel accommodations as we await the availability. And I really want to give Jonathan credit because in the past we weren't really able to utilize that funding well because we needed a specific date that they would enter the motel and we were able to or the shelter or housing, and we were able to give kind of a roundabout, hey, we think it'll be 3-4 days. Can we do that? So thank you, Jonathan, for that.
I just wanted to add, as you can see, our team is very big about blurring the lines between different companies, and we're very big about giving flowers. As you see, Daniel, wanted to give praise to Jonathan. Marcia earlier gave praise to the city improvement team. You mentioned about the Sheriff's Department. We always give them praise, and on all of our reports, we try and say the different companies that we work with, because we know that though we may have our separate contracts and get separate funding, a lot of our work would be halted without the help of the community. And also, like I said, it also affects our numbers. So that's why we do get a lot of acceptance, because working with different companies and they actually seeing that we appreciate the warm handoffs.
That's great. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think you guys are doing a great job so far, and
one last thing. I know you talked to Donnie about Medi-Cal and Cal-AIM. I'm getting the whole outreach team trained to either be enhanced case managers or community health supports, which will give the opportunity for $5,000 move-in cost for any individual that has Medi-Cal.
Great.
So we'll be able to actually
Phenomenal.
with that money, including the money that we're getting for the rapid rehousing funds.
And what about the $330 a month for active case management?
I think that's the enhanced case management that we can bill for that.
Yeah.
So yes, we will be doing that.
Let me know as you progress on that. Tara Izzo has offered to work with you, to help you, even if it's, just to, to connect you or train or do whatever. I mean, but her whole business is dealing with Medi-Cal and Medicare. So that's what they do. And so if I can make that connection and, but I mean, if the federal government's willing to pay for the work that we're doing, let's take them up on their offer. Yeah, right? Let's do it. Okay. Yeah.
There's an update from Miss Elizabeth.
Thank you very
Perez regarding
much.
Safe parking.
Greetings, Mayor and council members. My name is Elizabeth with Safe Parking. So for the month of May, we had a total of 22 individuals enrolled.
Thanks, Eric.
21 households. The total individuals served was 11 with a household of 9. We had 0 previous participants re-enrolled in the parking. We had 2 unknown exits the month of May, 1 positive exit that actually got into the Oceanside Navigation Center, and 4 negative exits for the month of May.
Wait, so how many positive again?
1 for the month of
One
May.
positive exit, okay.
Next one. And then for the month of May, we had the average nightly occupancy of 18 vehicles per night, with the average number of days to positive exit would be 28.
Do you work ever personally on some of these safe parking sites?
Yes, I'm the site supervisor for
Oh,
Vista.
you are, okay. Do you ask folks if they could get into some kind of, particularly my colleagues are very big on the non-congregate model, and I think well of it too, but if they could get into a non-congregate room, would they want to get out of their car?
We haven't asked that question.
Would you?
We could, yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're short on shelter beds, but I mean, people are not getting their best sleep in a car.
Right.
So, I mean, if there's no harm in asking them, I'd just like to know, because maybe we can do better by folks. I think there's a mental illness at play if a bed is available, but they would prefer to stay, in the car. Now, I understand some people don't feel safe in the shelter, but if we can overcome the hurdles that have stopped them from saying yes to a shelter, I just feel like, sleeping in the car is not, we've all slept in our car at least once. It's not comfortable. It's hard on people's bodies, and I feel like it's also a bit deprives them of some of the social interaction that they need to really heal and recover from homelessness. So I'd just love to know what the number is, and if that's something we can help get some of those people into a a more traditional shelter model.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you. Up next will be an update on the Buena Creek
Thank you very
Navigation
much, by the
Center
way.
from Miss Nanette Steenstra.
Hello there.
Okay, so this is our intakes for May. We had 8 Vista intakes for the month of May, 7 from a place not meant for habitation, and then 1 from a long-term care facility or nursing home. 5 of these referrals were from the San Diego Rescue Mission, 2 from PATH, and then the 1 other is from Lifeline.
Was that the nursing home one?
I'm not sure specifically. Yeah.
Wonder how come they got put out of a nursing home if they weren't able to be housed. I guess they just weren't. So they no longer, did that person still require nursing? I guess not, because they wouldn't be at the BCNC if they did, right?
It could have, I'm not sure the specifics of this
Sorry.
person, so I wouldn't want to make any assumptions that are not true. But I could get you more details on that person if you'd like.
Just curious to know all the different ways people come to us.
Yeah. It could have been that they improved and were in need of being in the facility any longer, but it would be a shame that the facility put them out to the street.
As I told the rescue mission, I secretly want to quit all that I'm doing and just like do what you guys do. This is my my role in it.
If you could get a city-funded position at the VCNC.
Hopefully I'm making my difference in the way I'm doing it, but
Yeah.
but I in a little way I kind of envy all of you that have the opportunity to spend your days helping people. It's got to be very rewarding.
It is, yeah. And these clients were unhoused for a range of months before entering, some 1 to 3 months, 7 to 12 months, for a range of 2 to 5 years, and then one was unhoused for between 5 and 10 years. This shows the different interactions that we had with clients between staff and case management. The top left is services provided by staff or case managers. The top right is referrals. So if we are not able to offer something in-house, we will refer out to an external organization.
So if you had 8 intakes, you must have had 8 exits.
Yeah, you could, our last slide is 7 exits, so just a matter of, it sometimes will take a day or two. Mhm.
How many people have benefits income, and how many people have employment income, and how many people have no income? Do you guys know the answer to that?
I do have that stat, and I can definitely present it for you in the future.
I'd like to know what's the average benefit income.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'd like to know what the average income is for people who are employed also.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd like to know, I think this shared housing thing, there's just no way we cannot, and you guys in this business, because you're thought leaders in the homelessness space, you need to speak the truth. Government cannot subsidize its way out of this problem. If we don't have enough market rate units that people can afford, what we can do, I believe, is we can give people a little bit of help. Give them that first month, help them with their credit issues, master lease. We can make it possible for people to get into a housing unit where they either didn't have the credit, the down payment money, or the rental history. You know, we can help solve those problems. The one problem we're not going to solve for everyone is the simple affordability of the monthly rent. So when we find market rate options and we pair people up and we have the cost of their rent by having 2 people go together, this is the solution because it's infinite. Whereas the number of homes that can be subsidized is finite. Very important.
We've actually had a really cool culture of job searching with our current group of clients. And it's been cool to see how they come back from job interviews and they're celebrating with each other. I think I've made like at least 4 resumes in the past months, and I think 3 of those clients got jobs. And that's just with the resumes I made. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, with our current clients, we've definitely had a lot of movement towards jobs and employment.
Is the number 20,000 or 40,000 jobs in the business? 40,000 jobs in the business park, or is it 20,000? It's one of the two. 20,000. So we had 20,000 jobs. We've been doing this Vista Cares thing. We're touring all these. We got this company that. You ever get those taco kits at the grocery store? The company right here in Vista puts all those things together. And you go in there, everybody's got their booties and their hat on, and anybody could do that. Anybody could do that work. My friend Hector, who makes vitamins in the business park, he's got people stacking bottles and stuff. Anybody could do that. There are thousands of low-skilled jobs. Jonathan, what are we doing through the Chamber of Commerce or through Larry to reach out, and this would be great for Vista also, to say, are you willing to engage in a partnership with the city of Vista? I mean, Dr. Bronner's would be first in line, right? Say, we have people that need work. They need an opportunity. giving these individuals an opportunity goes above and beyond just creating jobs for people. This is truly helping the community, and we are asking you, would you please help us? We're, I'll sign the letter from the mayor. We're asking, would you give us some jobs that we can help fill? Can we send people to you, and will you have an open heart and open mind to employ these people? And let's see what we get. Maybe there's some companies that would go, hey, we think this is part of the model that we want to engage in. I don't know, have we done any of that? Do you know?
As far as Retread, we've tried to make a few relationships with businesses through like personal connections, and they haven't been very sustainable fits. Just like not always giving. I would wish that they would give some prioritization to our clients, and they haven't. But that's certainly something I would like to see expanded upon. Actual partnerships with businesses.
They need recognition because they want to be good corporate citizens. They want to be recognized for being good corporate citizens. Maybe an invitation from the mayor to participate. Maybe we give the program a name, right? That way they feel like, oh, we are participating in the, whatever we name this thing, the Vista Job Opportunity Program. And, oh, by the way, we gave them a $25 plaque to put in their lobby. So when they have vendors and customers come in, say, this is important to us to give back, and we give them a little bit of social capital in exchange for doing the right thing. How hard would that be?
I think that would be amazing.
I have so many bad ideas. It's crazy. They're all free.
We've had a few relationships with staffing agencies, but it's not quite the same pipeline. Yeah.
The laundry, we have 2 laundries, Prudential and Alsco. They have great job opportunities. There are so many companies that need people all the time. And if they're willing to show up on time and work, they'd have an opportunity. We got to give this thing a name. I'm taking submissions for the name of the Vista Job Opportunity Program. We're going to create this. Isn't that a great idea? Sure. I think it's a great idea.
I agree.
All right.
And then on the bottom, you can see the different resources that we provided this month to Vista clients, as well as class attendance. We offer a variety of different classes led by contracted service providers or by staff or volunteers. And then you can see the on-site services from volunteers or contractors. So VCC came on site last month and they were able to serve 3 Vista clients. And then we also have a woman who comes to provide cell phones for clients.
And so, okay, let's jump to dessert. The 7 people that exited, how many of them are in permanent housing now?
So out of our 7 exits, there's 3 of them that moved into permanent housing, 2 moving into a rental with no subsidy, and then 1 living with family on a permanent basis. And then we had 2 clients who moved into temporary housing, and both of those were a substance abuse treatment facility or a detox center. And then we had 2 clients that returned to homelessness. And so you could see on the left, the average stay before exit to any location, which this is just for the month of May, is about 50 days. The average stay before exiting to permanent housing is about 65 days. You can see the specific breakdown on the bottom.
Average stay before exit to permanent housing, 64 days. That's important. Now I want to know the answer to this one. Of the people who are there right now, what's the average day count?
I do not know that off the top of my head.
I want you to get that one to Jonathan, and Jonathan, will you get that to me? I want it. This is very important, and I think it's an accountability number that you guys need to have all the time. What is our current average stay? Because that's got to shape the way you think. Okay, the people who had a positive exit stayed on average 65 days. So basically you want to start thinking about shaping the length of stay to go, hey, that 65 days is the typical, so somewhere between 30 and 90, and I understand how you're doing it. If people are working the program and they're making progress, you're giving them 120 days or longer, but We need space. So I don't know. I'm not there with you. I'm not asking you who you're cutting from the program. I haven't ever come to you, and I'm not going to ask you the specifics of those. But I just, we have to make tough decisions, and we might have to cut people who are not going to, have a positive exit. But your numbers are very good for the positive exits. They're very good. So you're absolutely deserve to be commended, all of you at BCNC, because that's excellent. Those are great numbers. Wish everybody's numbers were as good as yours for positive exits.
And we have been taking a lot of steps to identify within the first 30 days if somebody's actually serious about working towards housing, or at least working towards like the baseline goal of getting employment.
Right.
So that we can understand if they're going to be utilizing our space well.
That's phenomenal. That's what I want to hear. Good.
And then the last slide, we have our year-to-date outcomes. So this is from March to the end of May. And so we had the left two bars, those are both permanent housing. The first one is moved to a new housing unit, which is 58 people. The second one is moved in permanently with either friends or family, so that's 20 people, which totals to 78 people permanently housed since we've opened our doors, so that's about 39% of our exits. The second two bars are both temporary housing, so moving into a transitional or temporary housing facility or program, as well as moved in with family or friends on a temporary basis. And so that's 31 total for the temporary housing and 16 total for the family and friends temporarily. And so that's 125 total clients that we've exited since opening that are no longer in homeless situations. And so that is 62% of our exits. And then on the bottom, you can also see the average length of stay. The words got cut off a little bit, but the middle one is average length of stay before exit to any destination. And then on the right, 71 days is the average length of stay before permanent housing. And that is what I have for you today.
Very good. Thank you very much. Great work, BCNC team. Thank you.
All right, up next is an update on the Shared Housing Innovation Pilot Program from Ms. Brenda Viveros.
Welcome back.
Good morning. Excuse me, I have a little cold. So here is an update of our main metrics for shared housing.
How much did Vista invest in this program again?
With local dollars, zero. This is funded by a grant from the Regional Task Force on Homelessness.
And that was how much?
About $338,000.
Okay, good.
So in May, we saw 14 new clients that said yes to shared housing. So they came into navigation, and that would be an active total of 26 in the navigation phase. And in May, we transitioned 7 folks into stabilization, which means that we had 7 people move in. And then to date, since the start of the contract, even though we did have a little bit of a later start.
What's the difference between enrollment and stabilization? So enrollment doesn't mean that they're now living in that just means that they said, I want to participate in the program?
Correct.
Okay.
So in May, we had 14 people that said yes to shared housing.
Okay.
And that want to work with us.
So, okay, so now you're up to 47 adults that are living in this stabilized shared housing.
Not quite.
How many people are living under the roofs that are covered by your program?
I can give you that number in just a second.
Okay.
So this is just the navigation phase. So these are folks that we're getting different referrals through the shared housing assessment, through great collaboration with Winter Creek. We get those folks, assess them, screen them, intake them, start working with them in the location phase to either find a unit or to find a housemate. And then once we house those folks, they transition into stabilization. So the stabilization means they completed the navigation phase.
Got it.
They've moved in, and now they're going to be working with a stabilization specialist that they're housed.
Okay.
And then to date, we have served 27 households, and then total adults served are 47.
So are 47 people living under these roofs?
Not necessarily. It depends, because some folks may decide that shared housing is no longer a viable option for them.
Let me ask you this. how many rent payers do we have?
I can give you that number in a sec here.
Because, I mean, they're paying the rent, aren't they?
Not all of them. We
Oh, that was the whole
provide,
concept.
we provide first month's rent and deposit if they need it, and then any kind of ongoing rental assistance. We assess their needs on a monthly basis. So it's not like a low rental, shallow subsidy, but we do provide ongoing rental assistance. We have a flex fund that gives us that ability to help.
How many housing units do you have?
Let's see.
How many doors do you have? How many doors and how many bedrooms?
Let me see in Vista. Well, that would be the stabilization numbers. So in May, we had 7 enrollments.
No, but I mean, how many front doors do you have a master lease on?
Oh, master leases. In Vista, we have 7 master lease units.
Okay, 7 units, and how many bedrooms in those 7 units?
There's a variety. We have a 3-bedroom, and the remainder are mostly 2 bedrooms and a 1-bedroom.
Okay, so 7 times 2. It sounds like you just gave me an average of 2 per unit. So basically, we have 14 bedrooms. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And but we don't know how many people are living in those 14 bedrooms.
I can get more granular for you.
Just to clarify,
This is
if I may, so the units are acquired as needed. It's not like the Brilliant Corners program where they'll acquire vacant properties and hold them vacant until they find a client to put in them.
no, but I
This
just want to
program-
know how many human people are living in these. I want to know how many units, how many bedrooms, and I want to know how many bodies are in
Well,
those.
in stabilization, so if you look at that slide right here in May, so we had 7 folks that moved in May. So we're stabilizing 7 new folks that moved in. Total active is 29.
So there are 29 people living in 14 bedrooms.
Again, I'll have to get that exact number for you.
Okay, that's
because
okay.
the household compositions vary. Some folks move into an SRO, some folks move into a 2-bedroom with a housemate.
That's what we're one of the things we got to do is figure out a reporting format that makes sense. But I want to be able to back of the envelope math my way into what your cost is and what their cost is, because you had reported last time $1,013 was the average cost for those paying. Is that still the right number, or has that number changed?
It has changed. It changes every month. It
how much is it
really
now?
varies on the type of housing that we're getting folks into.
Oh, so now we're at 1,087
Yes.
for average cost per person for a 2-bedroom. Yeah. So I'm curious to know how many people are living in the 2-bedroom. Is it 2 people in a 2-bedroom?
It depends on household composition. It could be a couple. Like we've had couples move in for like our success story that I have outlined for you. It's a mom and daughter duo, and it's the daughter and her partner that are in 1 bedroom, and then the mom in the other bedroom.
Okay.
So yes, in May we had.
I'd also like to know what the total expenditure is for rent, what the total expenditure is for security deposits, what the total expenditure is for sundry expenses, what the total expenses are for staff. Because I'd like to understand how the money's being spent, and then I'd like to see the program revenues, which would be the rent you collected from tenants, so that I can understand. I want to know if your program is scalable or not, if we should invest more money in it. Because I've actually been bragging about your program, and I'm telling people I think your program is the way forward. Because yours is the only one that we could potentially add a small amount of money to and create a large number of housing units, which is amazing. And we need to do it quickly. So Jonathan, we got to get these numbers today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got 108 people I got to get off the streets. And if we could get them into the shared housing, some nth of them, then we could get people out of the BCNC, and I get more of these 105 people that want to go. And so I need this stuff like yesterday.
We'll get an expense report together categorized by the eligible uses and provide that the next opportunity.
Yeah, call me when you have it and let's walk over it. Let's walk through it. It's like later today. Because we got 105 people that we want to get off the street by the end of the day today.
In the next slide, there is a
there's no time to
snapshot of
lose,
some
right?
of how we're using our funding.
Okay, let's see.
And thanks for advocating and being,
Absolutely. I'm totally excited about your project. I know I'm a tough customer, but I'm totally excited about this.
yeah, and it's really a practice, right? We really want providers to see that shared housing is a practice. So here, this is a snapshot from the inception of the project. We helped 17 households with security deposit, 17 households with the first month's rent. Eviction prevention, so this is where some folks, for some reason or another, maybe hours were reduced at work, they suffered an injury at work, they were only to provide partial rent or no rent at all for a month, depending on life circumstances. So that's where the Flex Fund comes in, and we can help fill in that gap and ensure that they're paying their rent on time. And then master lease contingency, we have 5 households. So these are folks that have a lot of barriers, and we're helping them resolve credit history issues. Maybe they had evictions in the past. So they are kind of more higher acuity clients. So that's what we've spent in master lease contingency.
So $32,000. So are you, see, I'd like to know granular detail on how you spent that money. Did you, like, say they had $5,000 unpaid rent at a previous, did you pay that off so that they
No,
have,
we don't do any.
so what did you
back
spend
rent.
this $32,000 on?
So this is providing rental assistance ongoing for these folks.
The contingency?
Yes.
Well, then how is that different from eviction prevention?
Well, there are 2 different buckets because
Are these all for the people? I think we came down with a number of, we think there's 29 people living in your 7 doors, right?
yes.
We're going to use that number for the conversation today. So all the money expended here was expended on those 29 individuals.
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand the difference between, okay, so, all right, maybe it's this. Contingency, these are people, I don't know why you're calling that contingency. That sounds like a subsidy. And then eviction prevention, these are people that were supposed to be paying, they couldn't pay, you stepped in to pay. So almost an unexpected subsidy or an emergency subsidy versus, I would call this, instead of master lease contingency, that's a planned subsidy. You planned from the outset when you entered with these people, you planned to subsidize their rent, which is fine. But that makes more sense to call it that because now I know what it means. Client engagement incentives, what is that?
So that's folks where we them if they don't have any beds.
You help them buy some furniture, some
Exactly.
bedding. Good.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, and how many months, so you're the master leaseholder. How many months since inception? When did this program begin? How many months of, we have 7 units. How many months of rent have we paid? Do we know? So if you had 7 units, when was the first unit rented?
November?
The first
November?
master lease unit, yes, it was, I think they moved in at the end of October.
So this is obviously not correct, but 7 units times 6 months is 42 months. So I'd like to know how many months of housing you provided on these 7 doors. Because then what I can do is I can take I'm gonna say here, you got about 42 months. Your 42 months, I'm gonna go 108,324 divided by 42, worked out to 2579. And then I divide that by 29. It looks like you've spent $89 per person per month, if my math is correct. which would actually be fantastic.
We'll have
So-
to take some time to, do deeper analysis, certainly.
This is only the flex fund. How much total, and now, is your next slide going to show me, or do you have a slide? What's the total amount for administrative overhead in the contract? Because you had a,
Administrative overhead, not including staffing, is about 10,000, if I recall,
a month
for the year.
for the,
year.
oh, that's really low.
It's very low.
So I'd have to add 5,000 for 6 months. So 118. What other money has been spent?
Staffing costs?
The staffing cost was 10,000 for the year.
No, that does not include staffing costs. That's just for overhead, administrative overhead,
Oh,
indirect
okay,
admin,
well,
I
how
should
much
say.
is the staffing cost
I'll
for
have
the
to
year?
take a look at it. I
Roughly.
think budgeted is about 100,000 for 1.5 FTE.
Okay, so add another $50,000. That's 168,328 expended, divided by the 42 months is 4,007 per month of housing, but divided that by the 29 people is 138 per head per month. I think my math's right on that.
I would trust the mayor. I would also probably do a deeper analysis and provide that again as a follow-up.
Do you see why it's important? How much am I spending for each person for each month of housing?
Absolutely. Let me work with Jonathan to get
Because
that
other
data for
programs
you.
are subsidizing a much greater amount than if your number is $138, that is so much more scalable than any other subsidized thing that we're doing. So, I mean, it just gives us the ability to grow what you're doing exponentially. And then what's the pipeline? So I want that broken down into how many, if we have all the numbers here, how many doors, how many door months. A door month is every month you've had. So if you had one unit for 12 months and another unit for 1 month, you've had 13 door months, okay, or unit months. So we can divide the total number of unit months by the total cost. So we get the average cost per month. And then we can add all the other costs, and we get your total cost per unit per month, and then we can further divide that. Let's see. Actually, I think I did that math. I think I did make one mistake. So 156,000. I would divide it first by the 29 people. I think it doesn't matter which way you divide it. It still works out to be the same. Yeah, it's the same number either way. Good. Yeah, we need some more numbers here so we can really know what our costs are. But I don't know who else is providing housing for $128 per head per month. That sounds pretty good.
When you break it down that way, but there are some folks where we have been providing like 6 months of rental assistance. So,
But then are there other people that basically you haven't provided, you gave them first month,
right,
but
they were able to sustain themselves. Like they don't need our support at all.
Right.
We just check in with them on a monthly basis. We're like, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? You're able to pay your rent. They're good. They kind of essentially graduate from the program.
the whole thing about your program is that some people need more help than others, but all the people in your program needed some help. But the point is, your average cost to provide a unit versus what's our average cost to provide subsidy. You know, I mean, we gave $3.5 million worth of land to build. What's the name of our very first one there at Main Street and Broadway? Subsidized housing unit.
Main Street and Broadway, our first subsidized housing unit.
Santa Fe and Broadway, right in front of the traffic circle. What's the name of that one? With the
Paseo Point.
yeah, Paseo Point. We gave them $3.5 million of land 10 years ago. The land today is worth $5-6 million. So we gave them $5-6 million of the land. We could have, so that's costing us. We leased it to them for 60 years. but still, you know, we could reasonably have probably been creating revenue with that money. If we were private sector, we would have expected, you know, 6, 7, 8% return. So that's our annual investment, and then the federal taxpayers are investing. Anyway, you divide your way into it. It's way more expensive to provide subsidized housing than it is to provide this product. So this is a good product, but we need to really have a solid grasp on the numbers so that we can talk about, because as far as I'm concerned, with $300,000, you're a pilot program, and I also want to get your overhead costs down and your other costs, and the lower we can drive it, the more we can, you know, the more we can do with it. We can multiply what you're doing.
And we've exceeded our contract goals. We've served way more folks than we intended to.
Fantastic. That's good. I see this as a way that we can grow housing without growing the burden on the taxpayer. It's amazing. I love it. Tell us about your success story. Sorry, we're getting down to the end.
You're great. Well, this is in partnership with Humble Design. This is the mom-daughter duo that I was talking about. So the mom collects Social Security, and then the daughter works. So again, they're using their combined incomes to pay for their rent. But maybe her benefits get cut one month. We may have to, again, kind of come in and help support them. But
this is their apartment in these pictures?
Yes. So
it's nicer than my house.
They moved in March, and they moved in with nothing. They were living in hotels, paying out of their own pocket, and they were living in their car. And we got them connected with Vista International, master leased this unit for them. And Humble Design came in early June and did this remodel for them. So they had nothing. As you can see, it's very beautiful. They come in and they do the big deco day and the reveal. It's great. Lots of tears, and it's wonderful. We volunteered as a team too to do the deco day. It's great.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so it's...
Have you helped anybody from Operation Hope or the BCNC or any of our...
Oh, yeah. I mean, these guys are great. I love working with them.
Good. But you have people, on this 29, some of these people came out of our VISTA programs?
Yes, not these folks, but yes, we have a lot of folks that we've helped house, and it's such a great collaboration. Sydney, our housing navigator, she's there at least once a week, meeting with clients there, and yeah, we work together to get folks housed as quickly as possible.
Well, congratulations so far. It looks like it's really successful.
Thank you, and I'll work with Jonathan to get you the information that you need.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Finally, Ms. Esperanza Zapico with Operation Hope.
Thanks for being patient, Esperanza.
Hi, everyone. I'm here to report on Operation Hope and the work that we've done in May. So in May, I don't know why it says April. In May, we served 55 clients. No, this is the April report? We're in June, so I'm reporting on May. Yes, in May, we served 55 clients. As you can see here, we have a different of age ranges. 55 is definitely on the higher end. 58% were male, 42% were female, and I'm not going to go over all the statistics, but you can go to the next slide unless there's any questions. And then for our programming, we had our community meetings 4 times this month. We also had our 3 Strides program, which people loved. We also are continuing our financial literacy courses via United Way and Spark Point. That is also led by a volunteer. And we have our group workshops focused on budgeting and credit building. We also have one-on-one financial coaching for our clients, continued case management, fitness and self-defense classes. We had a mindfulness practitioner come in for the families. We also had our parenting classes with Vista Community Clinic and have been working with Exodus SD Start program to provide more supports for children and parents that have youth on the spectrum. We also have had our African drumming classes, and we served 1,650 hot dinner meals. About 70% of those are provided by community members and partners, volunteers, and are fully funded. And we had over 74 individual case management meetings. One of the highlights of May was our celebration for Mother's Day. We had an incredible day that day. We had over 12 volunteers come in. We had a beautiful sponsored breakfast. We had the kids participating as well, and they did presentations for the moms. There was not a dry eye in the house. It was a really beautiful day. We also had our Serve Our City event with North Coast Church, where Mayor Franklin came for a visit. So we had a lot of volunteers there. We had our bathrooms painted and a lot of different projects along the shelter to beautify the space. It was a wonderful day. It looks amazing. We also participated in the Vista Strawberry Festival for volunteer recruitment and community outreach. And out of our stays, the average stay was 72 days, and we had 5 successful exits of our family, 0 unsuccessful. So 5 of our families that left exited into, or 5, not 5 families, 5 total people, into a private home or continuum of care.
Congratulations, that's great.
Yes, we're very happy about that. And want to say thank you to the city council members for all your support for our gala. I know city manager John Franklin was there. Council member Jeff Fox was there. The Gerard Washington was there as well. And thank you, Mayor, for supporting us with donating our impact reports and gala programs. They were beautiful and they came out amazing. It was such a beautiful community evening. We had over 150 people there. We were able to raise over $60,000. So just want to thank everybody for their support of that event. It was a really great evening.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I think we're adjourned. Thank you all. Appreciate you taking the time to come and share your work with us.